Okay, we have a 2013 GMC Terrain, four-cylinder, 2.4 liters, I believe. I don't know. This thing's been giving me numerous problems. Had to replace quite a few sensors, crankshaft, camshaft, fuel rail, the timing solenoids, the crankshaft timing solenoids, and some other stuff I'm pretty sure I'm missing. So yeah, helping y'all out. If y'all looking for, or y'all researching this video and y'all want to do some self repairs to it yourself instead of taking to a mechanic or a dealership where they charge the shit out of you for parts and fucking labor. So 2013 GMC. I want to say they started making these in 2010 or 2011. I can't remember. And so 2000, let's say 2010 to 2014, maybe 15. They're pretty much the same. I think the front and back bumpers are just different. That's about it. But this video right here is to show y'all where the timing solenoids, the crankshaft timing solenoids, and the camshaft position sensor. Now I was getting confused. I kept saying crank, or kept thinking crank, not cam, or cam, crank. These are the camshaft position sensors. There's two of them. Camshaft position sensor A is right somewhere's underneath this right here. This, I believe, is your high pressure fuel pump that comes from your gas tank. All right. So if you reach your hand underneath it, I'll just show you on the side. So this is not very good. So man, let's see. So right there, that is sensor A of your camshaft position sensor, right where I'm pointing at, where those wires are going to, where that purple and black's at. Now it's sitting awkwardly. It's upside down. This is your sensor. This is what a camshaft position sensor looks like. Okay, you have two of them, and they both look identical, both the same, I believe. So this one right here, where is it at? Right there is sensor A. Now that, like I said, is sitting awkwardly. If you feel underneath it, it's sitting something like this, but underneath. So almost upside down, but to an angle. It sits exactly like that. So that is A. B is towards the firewall. Let's see. Let's see if I can get a better view for it. Can't really see, it's too dark. Not really seeing it. No, I can't get a really good view with the phone. You're just gonna have to feel for it. I just showed you the sensor, so if you reach back here and feel with your hands, you should be able to feel it. That is also sitting awkwardly. It's sitting something like this on the other side of the engine, like on its side, but to an angle, angling up like that. It's not sitting flat on top or exactly sideways. It's sitting like sideways, but to an angle like that. So you're just gonna have to feel for it, but it's back there somewhere. You're just gonna have to find it. I'm sorry I couldn't get a good view on it. There's just too much crap in the way. To get to this one, this is your A. Back there was your B. To get to your A, what made it easier for me was to remove this hose right here. That is your high pressure fuel hose that's connected to your, right here, your high pressure fuel pump that's coming from your fuel pump in your gas tank. I believe from your gas tank it shoots to this about 40-50 psi. Then from here into the motor it's about a lot. Can't exactly tell you. But anyways, remove this hose. This is connected to the hose. This was really awkward. It comes back like here, it 90s back towards the block. Then it goes up and comes to an angle like that. There you go. That's it. And you can actually see the nut for position for sensor A right there on top. So coming from here this way, 90s back to the block, then it goes up, then it 90s back this way. But you can see the nut at the top right there that holds the position in. So remove this hose, but right here and right here, and you're gonna need a 10mm wrench to remove that bolt to the sensor. It's really difficult trying to take it out with this hose right here, this high pressure fuel hose. Highly recommend that you take it off first. It'll make life much easier on you. And then for your solenoids, your timing, your crankshaft timing solenoids, these are it right here. 1 and 2. One's intake, one's exhaust. I want to say this is intake right here, this is exhaust back here. I'm not too sure, it could be flip-flop, but they're not the same. So if you're going to replace both of them at the same time, make sure you do it one at a time. That way you don't flip them and they're not in the wrong hole here, wrong position. What helped me out to make sure that they're in the right solenoid slash sensor is in the right place, you see how the connection for the wiring down here is white and back here is black. That's how I was able to tell. It should be able to tell you on the labeling too whenever you purchase these solenoids. So or it's like a white gray right here, white gray, and back here is black. So it's like gray, black. So if you're confused about it and you get mixed up somehow and you're like, damn, I forgot which one goes where, how can I tell the difference between the two? Like I said, one's gray, one's black. This is how they go. And these go bad from what I hear is because if you don't take care of your oil and you let it get low all the time on oil, these sensors are notorious for going bad on you. I have a best friend who's a mechanic at a dealership down here. I'm down here in Lamar, Texas, which is about 10 minutes away from Galveston. We got the biker rally going on, so if you can hear all the motorcycles in the background, 45 is running like this, and that way is south, going towards Galveston. So all these motorcycles are heading down there to have a good time. But yeah, so this is like your crank shaft timing solenoids. Real easy. I believe those are 10mm bolts or heads for those bolts. So grab a 10mm socket, get down in there. You're gonna need some sort of extension, obviously, to reach down in there, back them out. Like I said, I would do it one by one, disconnect the wiring for it. And I had to actually get a channel locks because they were in there pretty good, and I had to wiggle them around to back them out. So and do that. And like I said, your crank cam, not your crank, I'm sorry, this is your camshaft position sensors are right underneath here. Like I said, right there you can actually see the nut, and then B sensor is back here somewhere's in this vicinity of the area. You just have to look. I found it by using my hands. I couldn't exactly see it. It was hard for me to get an angle on it, but I found it just by touch. So I mean, like, again, this is your sensor. Once you have to replace them, you have to go buy it, get a good look at it, get a good feel for it. So when you go back there and try feeling for it, you'll have an idea what to look out for, what kind of shape the object that you're touching. So Um, Making these videos because the internet wasn't a whole lot of help. The videos were very vague. I found some easier solutions to reaching some sensors. If you see my other video, I show you where the crank shaft position sensor and the fuel rail sensor, high pressure fuel rail sensor is at, which is located underneath your whole intake manifold here. And if you look right here, and look at that, if you see that shiny metal right there, that's actually your fuel rail. Runs out this way, connects to this hose. Like I was telling you to disconnect, that way you can disconnect sensor A for camshaft position sensor. So I'm just hoping this helps somebody out in the future. I really didn't have much help. Some videos gave me an idea, but they weren't thorough. They were very vague. So I'm hoping this is nice and clear for who was ever trying to work on their vehicle similar to this one. Again, this is a 4-cylinder, not a 6.